Good morning, buddy. To Derem Lindsay, good morning, good morning. I actually got some alerts from my eToro where I actually set some price alert, and I was actually looking whether the short term trend is looking valid. So, while looking at the charts, we can see some different movements. Now, this is the chart of XRP from eToro. Now, yes, when you use different platforms, you kind of get a bit of different fluctuation. Say here, for example, the bottom of XRP on 13th March was 0.11 here in eToro, whereas if you look at the other charts, it's actually a bit different. Say when we actually look at the general chart, say for example in coin trader, or if you look at trading view, you can actually see around 0.12 here. Whereas in this one we actually got around point. Okay, I'll take this one so you can see where the bottom was. So yeah, here we came around 0.11. So now we actually pumping back up and it's 0.1954. So when we actually go through the charts, we can actually see different levels which we have to overcome when we are moving to the upside. And as one of my viewer actually pointed this out, like when we actually check XRP to BTC chart, we actually getting head and shoulder. So I was trying to see how it's playing out, and yes, in a 12-hour chart it looks something like this. If we actually break to the upside, the measured move here will be something like this, from the bottom here to the top up here. So this should be the measured move for this particular pattern. So if we actually move upside, say if we break to the upside, then say if we are breaking somewhere from here, then it should be at least a movement till here. So that will actually take us upside to a price range of, say in percentage, we will come up around 17 to 18 percentage. So when we actually jump back in to XRP USD chart, to see, usually say for example when XRP BTC pumps 10 percentage, we get around 3 to 5 percentage pump in XRP USD. So if that is the case, we can actually see that there is a possibility that the price may actually pump somewhere around here, which is say 0.2 level. And as we know, at 0.2 level we do have some resistance. It's not like we are not going to breach that one, but that resistance is staying there from a long time. As we just saw in the charts here in eToro, yes, we do have a overhead resistance around 0.28, which is still far away. But in this chart, if you actually take out some trend of movement within this particular channel, now this is a long channel. It is running from 2018, early 2018, say around April. So when you actually look at that, you get something like this here, right? It was moving in a trend, making like this. So if you actually try to move through its chart again, you can actually see another trend here. But the thing is, here it kind of got extended. The first one was a little slow, the angle was different. Now here the angle got a bit lesser, so it's kind of extended, even though the price actually started moving the other side from here. The triangle which we are looking at here is like this. And now again, as of now, if we look at this, we get something like this, which is still moving on. Now we don't know where it will end, because as of now we don't see that the price is gonna come below 0.08 or something, because the resistance and support area. Now yes, in this chart it's not actually clear because we don't have much of background data here in eToro. So in order to look at that, we should actually go back to some charts like this. So when we zoom out, we can actually see that previously, yes, we did get a touch here, but as of now, sorry about that, as of now we are somewhere here, right? So when we actually zoom in, we can actually see that we are actually making a up wave in which we got a bit of correction here. So if we actually take a move like this, we can see that the price actually came like this. So now we are going like this. So at this moment, if we can actually push through that, this range, then the range is actually open till 0.28, 0.3 area. Now, if that happens, that's going to be really good. Now, just check out who's online with me, who's watching here. It's Ronnie. Good morning. Hello, Ronnie. Hello. Good morning. Now, yes, along with these, I would like to actually show something here. Say, for example, yeah, it's a day old, so yeah, many of you would have seen this. But if you haven't, this should be actually considered. If you have time to read through this, that would be actually beneficial, because now people are actually starting to move towards digital assets and crypto. As you know, the crisis around the world is deepening. I mean, the financial crisis, not only the health crisis, because as health crisis is moving along, taking more time to solve, the financial system is kind of collapsing everywhere. It's not only in one country. Now I'm in South Korea, and just a day back, I saw that around 145,000 job losses just in 1 year. Considering that South Korea is a small country with a little population, if it is happening here like this, think what would be happening with countries which have higher populations. See, for example, in India, I saw that we are getting like 45-year high unemployment rates. Everything is going down. The entire monetary system is kind of, plummeting. People are looking for some ways to survive. So if that's kind of happening, this will actually come true. The smart money will try to move into alternative assets where they can actually look. Because as of now, you can see the gold is kind of pumping. Silver is still low. But the gold, for example, if you're a gold bug, gold investor, gold has actually moved significantly high from its bottom. Say it went around 1,200, but now it actually came back around 1,700, and it is moving somewhere near. Yes, I understand this is XRP account, and we are doing an XRP stream. But in order to compare, say, what's happening with gold, silver, and XRP, we should actually compare those charts. Say you are an investor, you actually look your ROI. Say, for example, the bottom of gold is somewhere around somewhere around 1,200, and now you have actually reached significantly high if you actually look from this bottom of 2017. So usually what the smart money do is they try to get in early, and they try to take out profit just before the previous highs or the higher resistance day. So for example, gold has already reached till this area. Yeah, it can move up to the upside, but the exposure to the upside will be limited. But at the same time, if you are actually looking at silver, it's still kind of at the bottom, because last time when gold reached its all-time high around $2,000 per ounce, silver was around $50. Now gold has reached 1,700 and silver is still $15. So in that aspect, the assets which have actually chances for higher return on investment will be the consideration for investors. So in that aspect, say if you measure from the current price level till the previous high, system is a bit lagging and it's not responding. Okay, anyway, now it just responded, so happy for that. Anyway, so if we see the measured move here at the bottom, you can see the measured move here, it's 225%. So yes, as we are from the crypto land, 225% won't be much for us. But do remember, when someone tried to go through this, they actually kind of use leverage. There is an option known as leverage, and they actually use leverage to trade that. So mostly, the smart traders will be using X2, X5 maximum, I think, because after that the leverage is too high and the risk is also too high. So in that aspect, they won't be trying much. Now let's actually take this into a big screen and try to see what's happening. We'll actually go into a shorter time frame, see, because we currently are moving within this particular range. We have overhead resistance here around 0.2 area to 0.33. Now here it's 0.28, which is the overhead resistance of the longer trend line. This is the shorter trend line. Yeah, even though it is a shorter trend line, it is valid from last 1 year. As we've been discussing from last couple of videos, we are getting this range as a solid range. We are still moving within this range, and the price is still respecting this range. So we have to keep an eye here. If we bounce through this, that's going to be huge. Now, yes, if I want to show that huge pump is happening here, then I would be moving into a shorter time frame chart, 1 hour chart, 30 minutes chart. But personally, I don't want to do that, because looking at 30-minute charts, we can't actually get the entire picture. Now, yes, some smaller patterns can be understood here, like this drop here. If we actually zoom out, you can actually see similar drops happening all around the way up. Say we pumped to the upside here, then we consolidated a bit, and then we got this drop. You see here, after that drop we went back up, we got this pump. But before we moved upside, we actually got a low like this and then went to the upside. So we have to see whether that's happening, and if this is what's happening there, we can actually see what can be the upside from there. Like, do we have enough room to run to the upside? Yeah, it's not too much, but still, if we get that 13% rise from where we are now, as we just measured previously, it's going to be helpful. Because say previously we just saw that 6% of a run up would actually take us to that long-term resistance line of 0.2. So if we actually manage to do that, then that's going to be huge. Now we have more messages. Say it's from Eric. Let's get the party started. Hopefully the party is starting here, because if we actually manage to move above that 0.2 line, then yes, the roof is kind of a bit to the upside, say 0.28, 0.3. Now yes, in terms of price, when we say 0.28, it looks a bit less, but if you actually measure the movement from here to that point, it's not that small. Now yes, I'm not saying here directly to put in leverage and go in, because I don't think putting in leverage at this moment will be better. But still, if you are actually accumulating your position, you want to see your position in green, think this from here to that 0.28 range, we are going to be about 45%. Now that makes, if you are actually dollar cost averaging your positions, that would actually help you to get so lower in terms of your average, and when you actually reach 0.28, that's going to be a green day. Say for example, from there the price is okay, I will actually remove all these indicators, because it looks like a bit confusing if you have everything together. Now zooming in, see this is a 4-hour chart. We now have the MACD moving above this zero line, so that's now in the positive range, showing that the volume or the buyer's strength is there. But keep in mind, now we are moving like this, but it doesn't mean that the price is going to go down there, because we do have something like this running here, which is a resistance line there. So what we have to see is, are we getting something like this from here? It may happen, like we may go back up, touch this line, come back here and move like this, which is still a possibility. We can actually neglect that. Now if we just put some imaginary lines, say we broke above, we consolidated, we moved to the upside, then coming back, retesting this area. So this is actually possible. But as we actually know, if you're here from some time, you would actually understand this. XRP, when it moves upside, it moves something like this, boom, boom, boom. So that happens. And the same when it goes down, yeah, it goes like this. Now zooming in, we will also take in the RSI, because the strength has to be understood for the underlying market. When we see in MACD for 3 days, it looks like the MACD has crossed to the upside. So if MACD has crossed to the upside, that actually means like the underlying strength is there, and the odds are that in that time frame, not looking at a 4-hour chart, we are talking about a 3-day chart. Say for example, I was actually going through the charts and I noticed this, that we crossed it to the upside in a 3-day chart. And that is actually a positive news. So for example, if you are taking out this indicators and looking, currently the price is actually above the 9-day moving average or 10-day moving average, which is closely the shortest kind of moving average to show where the trend is. Now this is a 3-day chart, so say for example if we are above that on a 3-day chart, then that means on a shorter time frame we are actually moving bullish. So at the same time we are getting this on the MACD, but yes, this is on the negative area in a 3-day chart. In order to move up, we should be getting here on a positive range. If we zoom out, check wherever we got a pump, we were actually above that positive range or above that negative range. We didn't actually move through that negative range while we got that pump. We actually look at all those previous pumps, you can understand before this pump here, last June, July, we were actually already kind of near that positive range in MACD, and with that pump we just came in. So in that aspect we still have a bit more room to the upside to enter the positive range. Now if we actually put in more indicators, say for example if we are putting in 50-day moving average or a 200-day moving average, we have to actually understand what's happening. Now the message is D Daniels is asking, do you see XRP $5 by June? Predicting a timeline for, I don't understand. Personally, I would say predicting a timeline is going to be really hard, because I personally consider, no one knows what's going to happen. Then you can ask why we are looking at the charts. We are looking at the charts to understand the odds. What are the possibilities? Will the price move downside? Will the price kind of move to the upside? We don't know. But in order to understand that, we always look back to the history, right? So for this, it is the history, how the price fluctuated, how the price actually moved above or below a certain level. These are actually understood at this level. So for example, here when we actually look, we actually understood that the price was actually moving to the upside. We were getting higher lows and we were actually respecting one particular level, and once we just broke that, we skyrocketed. Now we are not saying that it's going to happen here today, tomorrow, or a day after, but when we actually look back at a history, we can actually see that when XRP goes up, it goes up something like this. It's not once, it's not twice, right? If you actually go back in time, check these in your charts, you can actually see when it was moving through the roof, it just blew off, right? So yes, we are all waiting for that pump, but we don't know when it's starting. When we actually put in some moving average to see previous time, say last time when the price moved to the upside, how it actually reacted. So for example, how it reacted to a 200-day moving average or a 100-day moving average. Was the price actually above the 100-day moving average? Was the price just below the 100-day moving average when it pumped? So we have to actually see that how the price actually responded to certain levels, certain price levels. Because unless we understand that, it's gonna be kind of a bit difficult to say what's happening as of now, because no one knows, right? So for example, this is a 100-day moving average in a red, which we have plotted in a thicker line. If we look back here, we can see that the price was just below that 10-day moving average on a 3-day chart. We pumped to the upside, we came above that, but below. Okay, maybe the chart is not visible for you guys. I'll zoom a bit in before I try to explain it further. Say this one, say you can see that the price actually came above the 9-day moving average. Say we kind of turned a bit of bullish in, say, in that time duration of shorter time frame chart, say 12-hour or 4-hour chart. It may be what's happening there. Now in this 3-day chart, we can see that we were actually trying to move above the 100-day moving average there, and once we broke that, we actually moved up. And at the same time, if you look at the RSI, we actually came in. Now to understand what was happening in the MACD, we can kind of move in, try to check this here. it's in a log scale, but the price is not responding that much. Okay, anyway, so in that aspect we can see that the RSI, when the RSI is moving like this, the momentum indicator should actually be reflecting that. But by the time it actually reached the overbought area, the price actually went so high. So if you look at the RSI as of now on a 3-day chart itself, okay, we'll just come down here and see where the RSI is. So our RSI here is still showing that double bottom. We kind of got that confirmation like we are moving in a double bottom, say one bottom here and the other one here. I'll just keep those highlighted, so whenever I refer back to this, it will be visible there in the charts. So at this time, the RSI is showing you that double bottom, the MACD is showing you that cross. That is kind of a bit positive there. The MACD has actually moved to the upside and the price is still moving to the upside. Now we are just above the 9-day moving average here, and if we look at the past, we actually went to the 100-day moving average. We kind of faked out and came back below. So this time the 100-day moving average is somewhere around 0.25. So as I told, if we have room to run to the upside, then once we breach the 0.2, the movement to 0.28, 0.3 area can be quicker. Now, I'll respond to some, say, hello, could you please help me understand exactly what is this grayscale BTC and XRP address are about? Thank you for your amazing content. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, RWK Records. For example, when you actually talk about grayscale BTC or XRP, they have other investing assets too, but they're actually an investment firm where, you know, the giants invest. Say, for example, people like us who invest in, say, 5,000, 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000. For us, we have exchanges like, say, Binance, Kraken and all, or say eToro or some other exchanges, right? Whereas when you go for huge guys who buys in millions, they actually go to investment firms like this. Now the difference between the traditional investment firm and Grayscale is that Grayscale is into digital assets, say XRP, BTC, they have Ethereum and others too. And they were actually conducting a drop gold advertisement in traditional advertisement platforms like telephone, internet platforms and all. So if you're looking at what is the difference, this is the main difference. This firm is mostly into digital assets, and now they are getting a lot of exposure from new investors. Many investors are actually coming in with new inflows, and recently when they are showing that inflows are increasing and new individuals are coming in, that doesn't mean actually small individuals. When they are referring, it's actually huge. But yes, we don't know whether they are putting in a sell order or a buy order, but I assume that in this kind of asset which is so risky, I don't think they'll be going for a sell option when the prices are like 90-95% low for XRP, or say BTC is around, say, 50-60% down. So putting a sell order at this place will be so suicidal. At least that's my opinion for that. Now the next one is content consumer. Do you think Shane Ellis theory is possible? Personally, I didn't actually notice that Shane Ellis theory, or I don't actually remember that at this point of time. I'm sorry about that. Why so serious? Buy, hodl, sleep and repeat. Yes, buddy, I agree. We do buy this and move to the upside. Don't look at the chart, check BTC price. That's Rex 007. Buddy, I used to see your messages, and this is not any kind of a disrespect. I agree, but kindly understand that every asset is moving differently, because when you actually state that everything moves similar to that of BTC, I would again like to show you something. Say you go back into charts, look at XRP USD chart, you will understand what I'm trying to illustrate. If you are saying that everything is moving with BTC, then in XRP BTC or say Ethereum BTC chart, you should actually be getting same fluctuation. You shouldn't be moving up, you shouldn't be moving low. That doesn't mean there is no correlation between these assets. The assets are actually correlated, because this is a new asset class. Still it hasn't reached its maturity rate. So when you actually zoom out to XRP BTC chart, this is what you see. You see the 100-day moving average was actually suppressing the price here. And that is something what you are getting here. And I actually saw one tweet from a guy in which he was actually pointing out, say for example, that was actually from Mr. Whale on Twitter, and he was actually highlighting that the XRP BTC pair is actually moving in a pattern where you can actually see this. For example, consider this 100-day moving average as a line here, then the price is actually moving below this, right? So if you draw a pennant here, bearish pennant, it'll kind of look like this. And we broke to the upside. So currently, if you actually zoom into this area, now we have that head and shoulder drawn here. Otherwise it would be so easy. Say for example, if we draw that lines here, you get something similar there, and the price is actually so close to that 100-day moving average, and as of now we are just above or flirting with that 9 or 10-day moving average, meaning that we are turning bullish there. So if that is happening, then that is a positive news actually. Now I'm tired with my Chrome here. Fox is on fire. I mean, Firefox was working fine, but the Chrome most of the time gets stuck like this. Even though there is no much tabs open in it, it kinds of die on me. I was thinking that if I open every tab in Chrome, it would be so slow, because in one of our previous stream, we only have 3 stream, but in one of our previous stream we actually experienced that. So I thought, okay, at least I'll try to avoid that this time, and I actually moved into this one using the Firefox. So as of now it's not bad, it's moving better. So if we move that to the upside, then if say guys are saying BTC is moving up and we are following BTC, you should actually keep this in mind, that if BTC is moving up, yes, the entire asset class mostly would be moving up. But then you can actually ask, why is there a Bitcoin session or altcoin session? You can actually ask that, right? When the price of BTC is moving up, it's not like all the asset class are moving up. Say for example, XRP or Ether, and there are times when XRP and Ether pumps, but BTC doesn't get that much. So that is a cycle, right? Most of the people jump into BTC pumps, and when you actually see that BTC pumped 50%, say altcoin pump just 10%. So once the pump in BTC is over, you will have to take your, say for example, profit from there, right? So traders, what they do is they take the profit from which asset moved to the upside already and put it into other asset which have upside, meaning when it is still at the bottom, they will put it there. So in that aspect, we can see that the XRP BTC chart is actually pointing you to a direction where the price is currently at the low of last 3 years. If you see this, then the upside is so huge. Now yes, the upside here looks similar for last couple of cycle, because it's in BTC rate. As the market was moving to the upside, both XRP and BTC were actually moving to the upside, so you get similar tops here. But this was the tweet I was talking about, which I saw yesterday, and it really looks similar, right? If you see this, and at the same time you're getting this inverse head and shoulder here, which is pointing out that the market is kind of increasing in buy positions, so the chances are still there. Now this is a 3-day chart, remember guys, that's why the fluctuation look like this. It's not that natural flow there. But if you try to move into a shorter time frame charts, say 12 hour, 4 hour something, you get like this. It's more reliable there, just in the visible in a visible aspect, but in other terms it's actually looking okay. Now, I was actually checking the charts of others as well, like say XLM, Ether, and all, and they are actually moving up. Say, for example, Tesos just pumped 10%. And I got the notification from my eToro that Tesos just pumped. That was but I think last night, 4 or 5 hours ago. If I go to the notifications here on eToro, it actually showed me last 3 or 4 hours ago, or 5 hours ago, that Tesos just pumped 5%. Yeah, you can see Tesos just pumped 10% 5 hours ago. So if you just see the price of BTC on a same exchange, in order to compare how the fluctuations are working on one altcoin and as they call the mother coin. Now this is a weekly chart. The weekly chart is showing this. Now this one is there for XRP2. I'll try to explain that. Now that can be positive and that can be negative as well. Now the issue with crypto community now is that we have a lot of newcomers, and when we say that there is an issue with the price, it may move to the downside. Many kind of get so naive, they start saying no, it's not gonna go down, we have to accept that if the price is gonna move up, then the price is gonna move down too. So when we say that, those who came in somewhere here will say no, the price has actually moved a lot down, so now it's only moving to the upside. But if you zoom out and look at the chart, you'll understand in last 5 years the price has actually appreciated so much. So now the moving down is not that bad. It's a chance for you to buy low. For example, 3 years before, when I was in the market, yes, BTC was somewhere around 1,500 to 2,000, and yes, I missed it. But when it went around 3,500, 4,000, I started noticing the asset class and I started going in. But that time again, but I was not a holder, I was a trader. So if you guys, I've told this before, if you are doing the same now, you'll also miss out on huge profits. Okay, now moving into this chart here, what you can see is Tezos moved 10%, right? Now, if you see last 8 hours, BTC didn't get that pump. So it's not like when BTC is moving, altcoins are moving. It's not, we can't directly say that is what is happening. Guys, if you don't mind, I'll take a glass of water, just 2 seconds, huh? Okay, I'm back. So as we just explained, yes, there is a correlation between BTC and other altcoins. Now the reason for that is, in many exchange previously, you can actually notice that if you want to buy an altcoin, first you need to buy BTC. Most of the pair worked like that. BTC to XRP, BTC to Ether, like that. So if you actually look at eToro 2, it was an exchange previously, you had only coins. Say for example, XRP, Ether, BTC, you couldn't actually directly trade between them. But from last some time, say 1 year or so, they have actually started that. If you want to trade between coins, say you're long on BTC, short on XRP, you can actually do that. So in the correlation, if BTC go up and XRP go down, you make money. If it doesn't, then it won't. So it's kind of similar to that of forex, say, where you actually trade between euro to dollar, euro to yen. I think the pair is actually visible here. Say for example, we can actually check BTC to XRP here. If they actually show me that here, now you can see this, right? BTC to euro, BTC to XLM, BTC to GBP. Where is BTC to XRP? It's not actually visible there. What happened? Okay, anyway, we'll check BTC to XLM as of now, because we still have some correlation with that, right? So as we were checking in the longer time frame for XRP BTC, now this is BTC XLM. You can see the fluctuation is kind of moving in the same range. Now, yes, this is a 4-hour chart. If we actually try to zoom back into a 1-day chart, we can see this. In 2018, we moved like this, then we moved up. So remember, this is BTC, right? So BTC XLM means you are long on BTC, short on XLM. And from the early last year, we were actually moving up in price for most of the coins like BTC, Ether and all. But for XLM and XRP, we didn't get that much of a pump. Now in a 1-day chart, when you actually zoom in, what you can understand is we were in the bottom. We moved to the upside. That was not a small move. It's a good move upside. And now you're getting kind of a phase where looks like it is having a distributional phase. Now, if it is a distributional phase, you need to understand as the price may actually come down. Now here, when I say that the price may come down, that means the possibility of a alt season is actually increasing there. But if we break this to the upside, then that means this is a reaccumulation phase. Say for example, here what we see is a accumulation phase, and if we are to break to the upside here, that means it was just a reaccumulation and Bitcoin is going to pump again to the upside. Now that is not a bad news, because when Bitcoin pumps, the attention of the general public, general market actually turns. They start looking at, this is actually moving. If you actually see CNBC shit and all, you can actually understand that when the price actually moved to the upside, they start talking about Bitcoin, they start talking about XRP. So in that aspect, this is actually a good deal if that is coming on our way. Now, yes, sometimes both are dying on me. Now, as I just so that asking to use a Brave browser. I haven't actually tried that here in my personal computer, whereas I was using that in my office. So I think I should actually try that too here also in my personal laptop. Now I would actually like to check, say for example, what is happening with the comment section. If actually someone, like last time when we were online, you guys actually asked me to do technical analysis on different assets. Say we actually examined XLM, we actually examined different coins like Link, Tezos and all. So if there are something which I can do here, then yes, we'll continue, or otherwise I think we can just stop the stream, because when the price started pumping, we were actually looking at what's happening and what are the possibilities. Now we understood that the price is actually moving to the upside, and that is a good news. So yes, jumping back into the charts, yes, we don't see much of a movement here. Whether it's being stuck here or not, I don't understand. But if is there anyone watching now? How can I actually see that? Yeah, 39 guys are still in. Thank you guys for tuning in and supporting the channel. So yes, when we actually look at the chart, as we just stated, charts are actually moving in. When we zoom in, say for example, we can actually move into a 1-hour chart of XRP. This is the 1-hour chart. Not sometime, when I go online, this happens most of the time. Now this is the third stream which I'm doing in this channel, and yes, 3 times we got this issue. I was actually thinking I would try to solve this by using at least 2 browser. I think I have to update the RAM. It's currently 4 GB RAM, so I think I have to upgrade that to at least 8 GB or 16 GB. One of my viewers was directly saying you should actually upgrade your hard disk from this one to SSD. So I have to think. is taking a bit more time than usual to reach the charts itself. I think I should be closing some of the charts. This is taking so long, and I understand that your valuable time was kind of being eaten here or wasted here. This is a 12-hour chart, and yes, now at least the chart is kind of moving in. So we'll look at this 1-hour chart and close the stream. So in a 12-hour, I think this is a 12-hour chart, and we were actually moving to the upside. So here, when we actually see that the price is actually moving above the 9-day moving average and the 100-day moving average in a 1-hour chart, and at the same time we are getting the MACD kind of looking to cross to the downside. We are not sure whether it's going to bounce from there or move to the upside, but if we do move to the upside, then the target remains this one first, 0.2, then 0.24 area. Now, as we just saw in the 12-hour chart of XRP, the 10-day moving average has crossed the 100-day moving average, which kind of shows that the price is changing its trend. Because previously, if we say, at least if I say, we were actually moving in a downtrend, a bearish trend. This movement up was kind of, for me, looking like it's going to move up here and then come back down here, do a bottom. Because usually when you get a double bottom here, next you get a double bottom here in the price as well. So if that is happening again, that's not bad. But if the price is pumping from here, it's okay for me. I have actually had opportunities to buy and actually bought more. So only if the price come back down here, I'll start to buy more. But if I don't get a chance, it's okay with me. If the price is actually moving to the upside, we are all happy. Now the price is kind of not moving much now. Previously, as we just saw in eToro, the price actually went till around 0.98, so it's close to 0.2 area, right? And we just got a bit of correction in last 1 hour. But previously, as we pumped, we are still maintaining that level. If you see, we pumped from here and we made a bull flag here. Now we got a small pump again. Now here we are getting a small bull flag. So if we are to continue, that's going to be better, right? But right now we came just below the 9-day moving average on a 1-hour chart. So the possibility is still there. Now we may kind of come back below a bit and then pump up. So guys, keep an eye close to the price. If we are managing to break above the long-term resistance line of 0.98, 0.22, I mean 0.202, then that is kind of really bullish. If the price is actually moving into that, we'll just jump into 12-hour or a daily chart to draw that line again, to remind everyone that we still have this level running here. And if we manage to move above that, it's going to be so bullish. If you see this, you will understand that we were respecting that price level from a long time. It was a resistance here, support here. Previously also it was acting as a resistance, if you see. So if we manage to do that, we are bullish. Currently we are above both 10-day moving average and 100-day moving average. So if we are above the 100-day moving average, then that means we are above 50-day moving average, 20-day moving average, all the small averages there. And at the same time, when you're actually looking into the MACD, you can see that the price is showing a chance that it can cross to the upside again, and this cross will be different from here. So for example, here when we are crossing upside, we were in the negative territory. Now here, if we are actually crossing, we are in the positive territory, and within the positive territory, if we move to the upside, that gives us more fluctuation in terms of price. And when you look down here on RSI, you can actually see that the RSI is currently around 57. Previously, when we were getting this cross to the upside, RSI was in oversold area. So when the RSI is above 50 in, say, a 4-hour chart, 12-hour or a daily chart, in that time frame RSI is bullish. So if you're actually looking at the RSI here, you can see that RSI has already moved to a bullish zone, that is above 50, and MACD is in the positive range, trying to show you that there is going to be a cross. You can see that it's kind of already mixing up and going to cross. So if that cross happens, then this resistance line won't hold, because all the previous time when we were actually getting those crosses, we were in the negative territory here. And at the top, as you can see, we crossed to the downside, and here we had a similar thing happening, and we pumped above this resistance line, but we couldn't actually hold above that. Yes, we came back below after a 60-70% pump, but even if that's happening, we can actually see 40-60% pump at this price point. If that pump is happening, then that is kind of turning the market a bit bullish, because there's a lot of guys who have already accumulated at this price range. I don't think they will be taking small profits, 30-40%. Yes, some may do that, but majority will be holding for higher gains. So guys, thanks for tuning in, and that's all for today's stream. Now I'll be making a video with different information. I'll do my research and then go through different charts again, try to compare different time frames and move into informations which we haven't presented in this stream. So I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.